A lot of the rest of your teammates have talked about that this is just another game. Is it really just another game now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not looking into it any further than that. I mean, we can put together all the storylines we want. I mean, bottom line is they're a really, really good football team. They have the same goals and aspirations we do. We just happen to be the two teams last year that were, kind of at the top and had a chance to play in that NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that one didn't go our way. They had a phenomenal season. They've got great players. They got great coaches, just like we do. So, it's a very important game because it's the next game. It's a very important game because it's against an opponent that we know has a great chance of being there at the end, just like we hope to be. And so, there's implications that come along with that. But let's just go out and play this game to win the game because it's the next game.
Are you talking about home field there, Drew? Is that something?
I'm just saying, when you look at some of the top teams in the NFC, this is definitely one of them. Yeah.
How long did it take you to forget about what happened last year? Or have you forgotten about it?
Still haven't, never will. But when you say forgotten about it, I mean, you have to find a way to compartmentalize it to the point where you can move on in a positive way, and so I've found a way to do that. But as far as just the events, you live and learn, and sometimes things don't go your way, and you got to find a way to come out better on the other side.
Is there any value in beating the team the next time you get a chance to play them?
I mean, again, I don't look at that. I don't look at it like we've got all this added fuel to the fire. There's already fuel to the fire. So we're just going to go out there and play our game and let the chips fall where they may.
Did you watch the Super Bowl? Not that you were judging them, but thought what we could have done or how we may have attacked New England differently, or did you not even watch the Super Bowl?
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. I mean, I always watch it. I'm a fan of the game. I love the game. And familiar enough with, both teams that, by that point that you watch it. You don't watch a game as a fan. You watch the game from a very analytical perspective. I think I'm probably going to be cursed that way for the rest of my life. I can't just watch football as a fan. I know too much, right? So you're always putting yourself in those positions, mentally, even though you may not be out there.
He plays defense with the head on your mind this week.
Yeah.
How big is that, do you think?
That's huge. He's a big part of the D-line. Obviously, he's an impact player, but also just from a depth perspective, you with especially an up-tempo group like the offense that our defense is going up against, with the Rams, the more depth, the more that you can, be shuffling guys in and out and keep guys fresh. That's important.
You talked about you looking at football from an analytical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You've played the Rams so much. We've asked you a lot about Wade Phillips. Do you think he'll be able to coach football and operate at a high level until the day he dies, if he wanted to, because he's done it so long,
Probably.
so well?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been around for so long. He's got so much respect from guys around this league, and he really does a good job wherever he goes.
Because of what you said about both teams being good and the fact that you guys are playing them for the fourth time in 3 years, is this almost like a mini rivalry kind of developing now?
I don't know if I'd categorize it like that. I would say that they're a very good football team that aspires to be exactly where we do, and I think when you look at some of the top teams in the NFC, you absolutely put this group in that club. So they almost feel like a divisional opponent, because we've played them so much over the last 3 years. But again, we know they're a great football team, and we gotta play our best to beat them.
What makes Aaron Donald so good?
What makes Aaron Donald so good? No weaknesses. He is an all-the-time player. He's got such a high motor, so he is full go all the time. He is so multiple in the things that he can do. The moves that he can give you, the inside, the outside, the rip, the jump, I mean, I don't even have names for all the moves that he can do to get to the quarterback. You cannot block him with one guy. He's just that good a player. He's such an impact player. He can change a game, you know. So very. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like him. But he's just a phenomenal player.
Drew, what do you think about McCoy's performance in his NFL debut, and where would you say the chemistry is at between you and him?
Yeah, so Eric, I thought he did a great job. I think that we've become very comfortable with each other over the last couple weeks, especially throughout training camp. Had a chance to get a ton of reps together. I feel like he's got a great group around him. Again, when you talk about the offensive line, you typically don't talk about one guy. You talk about the group, the unit, and just the way that they operate together, because there is so much communication and just continuity that needs to exist between those guys. And so I feel like just that group has done a phenomenal job, and obviously we're going to need that on Sunday as well.
Drew, can you throw these guys a few curveballs at the right moment that would make a huge difference in the game, or is that a likely not?
Well, listen, I don't know about curveball. I mean, it's you just want to play good, smart, efficient football. And what's my job? My job is to make good decisions, to put us in positions to score points, right? And hopefully we score more points than they do, But there's things that go along with that. Listen, ball control is important. Taking care of the football is important. Listen, are they going to make some plays against us? Yeah, they are, And we just got to make sure that we hold on to the ball, when they do. And then also, are we going to have some opportunities to make big plays? I hope so, And then if we do, then we got to be able to make those plays.
Do you think you're judged as a quarterback by what you do in games like this?
I mean, I think we're judged as quarterbacks by every game, especially big games, yeah. But it's the second game of the season, right? Each game to me, I play as if it's the most important game of the season.
Do you think the offensive line's familiarity with Donald and their pass rushers, is that, I guess it can cut both ways, but is it an advantage to either side? The familiarity, the fact that you played them a bunch of times, and so you're playing with the best pass rushers in the league, but it's not like they have to get used to facing them.
Yeah, I mean, for those guys up front, it is a lot about the one-on-one matchups, right? Like if you're a left tackle, then most of the time who's lining up over you, right? Especially in pass rush situations. On the interior, that varies depending on strength and depending on how they're, moving their defensive tackles around and different things. So you kind of know maybe the group of 2 or 3 guys that you're going to go up against, right? And so you study them, you just like they're studying you, just like I'm studying DBs, just like they're studying me. It's always a little bit of that chess match. He knows that I know that he knows, right? But again, at the end of the day, we just got to make more plays than they do.
Drew, is it advantageous to be able to play them week 2 and then kind of wipe that game off and move on from the obvious storyline that lingers around this game?
Well, I mean, listen, it was like going into the Minnesota game last year, right?
Right.
They scheduled it on Sunday Night Football. They're going to make a big deal out of us going back to Minneapolis, right? And I can tell you, it's the last thing anybody was talking about around here. That was just another big game against a really good opponent where we got to go and get a W on the road. And so, we were able to do that. And then maybe there were a lot of storylines leading up to it. I don't know. I wasn't reading them. But afterward, I'm sure it was all quiet, Maybe that's the same way after this game. But regardless, they're a great opponent. I feel like we got a good team. Hopefully we can go there and get a win.
Can I ask one more? You guys settled for field goals early in that NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I know red zone efficiency is always a big deal. Did you go back and look at that and say, you know what, we could have done a lot better there? And how do you kind of approach that this time?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I'd love to tell you that, we should go down and 100% of the time we should score touchdowns, That would be the ultimate goal. I think if you fall in that 70% range, you're probably going to lead the league. So I think you just understand that in games like this, 7 points is a lot better than 3. There's other factors that go into that, but you know, especially when you move the ball, you'd love to capitalize with a touchdown. Obviously, those are very meaningful in games like this. All right.